Good morning, everyone. Judy Martin Ginting is here, lecturer in civil engineering, Batam International University. Today, we will discuss about how it works to calculate the velocity of the river flow. We call it hydrometry. So, in data retrieval for the river velocity calculation, we usually use two tools, namely buoys and current meters. In the measurement, using buoys, 2 points will be set as a reference. Measurement by using buoys, that is the time it takes for the buoy to reach a point at a certain distance. It's usually used in flood conditions when it's very difficult to measure by using a current meter. Buoys can be in form of the objects that are commonly found around us, such as drink bottles filled with little water or other objects that can float. Or maybe we could use a specially designed buoy to measure the flow velocity. The first step is to determine the starting and the ending points of the measurement. So the illustration like this, set the distance between each point with the right distance, such as 1 meter, 2 meters, 100 meters, and so on. Second, drop the buoy at the starting point and calculate the time required by the buoy to be able to reach the end of the point. The third, the velocity is determined by dividing the distance between points against the time required by the buoy to move from the starting point to the end of the point. So that was the way we use buoy to measure the velocity. Okay, the second one is current meter. So this current meter has better efficiency than using buoys. However, current meter measurement requires us to enter the river area to measure the discharge from within the river. Current meter is a tool that can directly display how fast the velocity of the flow of the river by using a propeller to measure the velocity of the flow. So, to know the velocity of the flow, we just need to look at the number that are on the tool. Usually used in a river that tend to be very wide and performs on a cross view of the river divided into several measurement points. Usually measurements are performed at several points in the river area and some points at the depth of the river. This is done to measure the flow velocity more accurately. There are several methods to measuring flow velocity using current meter, namely 1-point method, 2-point method, 3-point method, or 5-point method. Okay, the first one is 1-point method. It usually used on shallow river and measurements are performed at a depth at the maybe 0.6 of the total depth. Okay, and the second one is 2-point method. It usually for deeper rivers and require higher precision. In this method, 2 points are required as a reference, namely in the depth of 0.2 and 0.8 times the total of the river depth. Then we average to get the velocity of the river. Okay, and this is the formula of the 2-point method. And the third method is the 3-point methods. This method is applied to rivers that have a very deep depth and require an even better level of precision. The calculation was done by measuring velocity at the depth of 0.2, 0.6, and 0.8 of the totals into the river. So we have to get the data on the 0.2 of the total depth, 0.6 of the total depth, and 0.8 of the total depth. The formula used is V equals to a velocity at the 0.2 plus velocity at the 0.6 and plus velocity of 0.8. Then we divided all of that by 3. Okay. And the last method is 5-point method. This method is the most detailed method in determining the velocity of the river flow because it uses 5 reference points in determining the velocity of river flow. The measurements were performed on the surface 0.2, 0.6, 0.8 on the surface of the river and the bottom of the river depth. The formula used is V equals to velocity on the surface plus 3 times velocity on the 0.2 plus 2 times velocity at the 0.6 plus 3 times velocity at 0.8 and plus velocity on the bottom of the river. And we divided all of those to that. Here is the picture of the current meter and measurement in the field. Current meters are small and large, which the physically small and is the big current meter. Small ones are usually used on a shallow river or if researchers can still stand to take measurement. The large one is for the deep rivers and require the means to perform measurement. Like we can use a boat or we can use a bridge or a cable car. And this is the use of the current meter. Could be, we call it merawas. Merawas is we can stand on the river and we walk on the river to measure the velocity of the flow. And the second one is by the boat, and the third one is on the bridge, and the last one is a cable car. So this is all the method that we can use to measure the velocity by current meter. Okay, so these are some tools that can be used to measure the velocity of the flow of the river. Many other tools can be used to measure the velocity of the flow in this modern era with higher technology. But in Indonesia itself, still often use this tool because it is efficient and cheap. This is the end of our discussion today about measuring the velocity of the river flow. Stay happy and keep healthy. Thank you.
I'ma make it there, I'ma make it there,